Hey everybody, well, today's day. I told you we were going to come back and talk about electric fences, and that's what we're going to talk about today. If you're a subscriber, you got a pretty good idea of what I'm doing. If you've watched the videos, I'm trying to subdivide my pasture into small pastures for rotational grazing. Here's a quick picture to give you a rough idea what I'm doing. The green lines in here are what where I'm putting up hot wire. The yellow is existing fence, and the red is where I'm going to be moving. All that existing fence is going to be, it's all goat and sheep 4 foot. But the green is going to be hot wires. That's what I'm doing. Now, I said I would go through each step. I didn't show you setting it up. That can get kind of boring, but I wanted to tell you each aspect of what I'm doing. Let's go down here real quick to start, because I want to explain. The first thing is wood post. And yeah, I know that's not a wood post. That's a 8-foot pressure treated 4x4, because there are no wood posts in my area. You can't buy a wood post anywhere. I literally thought about taking down a piece of fence just to get the post. But I'm using pressure treated 4x4s on the end for my wood post. Why am I using wood post? Because I'm not going to guarantee this will stay electric. I could have put up goat and sheep fence for doing this, the 4 foot, but it'd be over $1,000 on wire right now because everything's so high. For under 300 bucks, I'll have everything done with this. But who knows? Someday I might get a really good deal on the wire and I could put that up. So I stuck wood post in to begin with. I'd need to brace them up if I'm going to stretch wire off them, but I'm fine here. You'll also see T-post. I'm using some T-post. I've got a few electric fence posts. I'm using those. Why those? Well, you can see they're rusty, which means I have them, so I don't have to buy them. An electric fence post today cost about as much as T-post used to cost a couple years ago. Now, it's set up this way for my thing. It might be a little different than what you're doing if you're going to rotational graze, and that is my fence is set up permanent. I'm not going to be moving it every few days. Instead, I'm going to build multiple fences, 3 or 4 of them, I think is what I got to end up doing. And then I won't be moving my fences all the time. So for me, it's going to be a little bit different than maybe for you. Maybe you're going to be moving your fences and you're going to rotational graze. You want to keep moving your fences every few days. I decided, no, I'm just going to take the time, put up all the fences, and then just move the sheep. So that might make us a little different, but most of the components on the electric fence should be the same. So let's get over, let me show you what I did and explain why I did each thing. All right, first thing you can see, poly rope. That's what I'm using. I'm using poly rope. Admittingly, the poly tape is a little more visible. They can see it better. But in my case, I had almost 2 rolls of this on hand. My daughter had some she had used before, wasn't using it anymore. So I started out with that. I've now purchased a roll. This will do my second. I'll probably have to buy 1 more of these. So in the end, I'm going to end up with about $70 I purchased here. But seeing as I was a third of the way there, I decided to go with poly rope. So far, I haven't seen a problem there. I've had to use out here for, 3 days now? It's the 3rd day. And the first day, they'd never been around a hot wire before. So there was a few jumping back a little bit. I didn't see them always touch it, but if you look over and see you about 4 feet in the air going away from the fence, you kind of know she hit the hot wire. So that's done well. I have painted desert, various breeds. I do the exotics, but if you get into black Hawaiian, some of the other horned-haired sheep, the black Hawaiians, dolls, especially mouflons, I don't know if that's going to work, especially mouflons. I don't think you're going to hold them on the hot wire. But my painted desert, I've had no problem using the poly rope. Connectors. Boy, I'll tell you, there you can really go through, and there's so much difference in the connectors. So here's what I did. It varies by pasture, but in most cases, I have from post there to post behind you is a 90-foot run, and from there down to that post is a 200. So I got a 290-foot run. What I wanted to do was attach at that post, come up to the corner, swing the corner, go all the way down there, and stretch it one long run. And I could always come back and pull a little tighter if I needed to. So my biggest thing to start with was something on the corner. And I didn't want to be cutting or splicing the poly rope if I didn't have to. There's a lot of things you can screw into the post. It's got a hole, ceramic, but then you got to feed it through here before you go all the way down. I didn't want to do that. There's the round, small ceramic or plastic rings with a hole in the middle. You can put the line around it and you can just tie it onto the post. I didn't like that. What I found was this. Basically, get up, if I got to get a little closer for you. It's got the screw in, I can screw into the wood post. It's got the ring, but it's got a little gap. I have a little small gap to where now I can screw this all the way into the post, then walk up with a line and put the line through it and it'll hold it up. Got a piece of line right here. And I can set it up at any time I want like that. I can take it down, I can put it back on. But as long as you put it the right way, in my case, when I'm screwing it into the post, I make sure to leave the opening away from where I'm pulling. That way, that works pretty well. I like these, cost me a little bit more, but for all my corners so far, that's worked great. On the ends, on that end and on the far end, I needed something. And most of them, the yellow ones, they do have the nail in at an angle, but you're pulling straight away. I found a small one like this. You nail it. I have a nail down there someplace down. Carry everything with you. Just nail it in the post. But in my case, again, I had 4x4s. So instead of nailing it in the post, so I'm going to be pulling on the end, I put them in the side. That way, and it's got the opening, I made sure the opening's on the other way. That way I set them this way, so I'm pulling sideways instead of pulling straight away. I thought that would help hold the line on better. Lastly, the steel posts. Boy, if we've all done hot wires, we've all done steel posts, those yellow ones you usually buy can be a real pain to put on, put off, or whatever. So, I happen to see something called the lock jaws. And there's the lock jaws. And this is great. Now, I could have bought a bag of 25, I don't even have it with me. 25 of the old yellow insulators are about $8.50. I think I spent 12 or 13 for these, so the cost is more. But it's still not that bad. The next thing, the nicest part is easy to snap in, easy to take off. And the reason it's easy to take off is nice is because if you're not real smart at the start, let me get around here a little bit. They've got the spot where the wire goes through, or your line goes through, so you loop it through. Again, let me get a piece. So they got the spot where you can loop it through, nice and easy, nice and simple. Now the only bad part is, if you're not real smart when you're starting and you put them on the post upside down. And then you come back later and thought, well, what idiot put them on upside down? Well, I did. But they came off easy, they snap right back on. Or you want to change the height a little. I thought I had them a little too close to the ground. Now you pop it loose, pick it up an inch or so and put it right back on. The other advantage to this is it works either way on the post, forwards or backwards. Even if you have to come from the back side of the post, this will still work. It's got a groove right there that you can actually put it backwards on your post. So it works either way. So let's say you got another fence up and I got some ewes here, but I got some rams on the other side. I could literally take, even though the fence is on this side, I could mount this on the other side of the post and put a couple hot wires so the rams couldn't touch it, or if they touched it, they would back off. So I like those. Those were worth the money. I would look for the lock jaws. I thought they were worth the money. So basically all I did, I hooked them down there, I came it all the way across, went through my loop, came down the other end, tightened up, didn't have any problems. Let's move on to the electric fence unit, what I used. All right, for a fence unit, let me get you over here, you can see, that's the American Farm Works, their 10-mile solar panel. That's available, I picked mine up at Tractor Supply. Here we are now in July of 2022. I paid $179 for that. 10 miles. Man, that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. I don't need nearly that. And we're looking at even electrifying all 4 runs at 300 feet each. That's 1,200 feet. If I did 3 fences, that's 4,800. Or 1,200 at 3 fences is 36. That's not even a mile, barely over half mile. And I'm running 10. The reason is you lose a lot with the poly. Poly tape or poly rope, you're going to lose a lot. So you can almost cut it in half, what you're going to lose. So, and a 5-mile fencing unit was $149. For 30 bucks more, I doubled it. I decided that's what I'm going to go with. I looked at a lot of different options. The best one I found, and the best reviews and the best everything, was a Gallagher. I believe S20. I believe that was the right size for the solar. Not available, could not find it anywhere, looked all over for it. And if I did find it, it wasn't available, but the price was like 270 bucks or something like that, so $100 more than this. So I thought, no, we're not gonna do that. The review I saw on this, the one I liked, the guy said he had it, he liked it, it'd been up for 4 years, didn't have a problem. He said now after 4 years the battery might be getting a little weak, might be time to change your battery, so okay. But he said if he had a problem, if there was a problem with it or whatever, it is really finicky about a ground. Grounding it was very finicky, he said. Whereas, say, like the Gallagher, I mean, he clipped the ground onto a T-post that was barely in the ground, it was still working perfectly fine. So, what do they recommend? Well, you get the book on this thing. They recommend 3 6-foot ground rods 10 feet apart. I have never, ever done anything like that when grounding an electric fence unit before. And maybe that's why some of mine weren't always as powerful. But I thought, okay, we're not going to try that, but we might hedge just a little. So what I did is I bought an 8-foot ground rod, cut it in half. And if we can go right down here, I think if you can see there's sticking out just a little bit is 4 foot. And there's a wire coming down here. And there's the other one in there, 4 feet down, and coming up to the wire and hooked on the ground. And the wire I used, I happen to have some 10 gauge wire left over. I was wiring a 5,000 watt heater once and it required 10 gauge wire. I happen to have a little of that. So I'm using 2 4-foot ground rods, and with that, I'm getting pretty good charge on it. And I'll show you that in just a minute too. So how's this gonna do in the long term? I have no idea. It's been up there for a few days now, and it's hot, it's working. It's working with 2 ground rods. That works for me. Not gonna say that's gonna work for you, but so far we'll see what happens. As far as heat, the only thing bad about this one, it doesn't give you any of the leads or the clamps. A lot of these units will give you leads and clamps to clamp on it. No, you don't get anything with this. You get that, that's all you get. I just took some of the lines, you can see the poly, but if you can see, I really wrapped it around each one. I didn't just loop it once or tie a knot in it once. It's got all kinds of loops. I wanted as many contacts as I could have, making sure that wire contacted really well. Now, you got it up, you got to make sure it's working. So let me show you what we're doing for that. All right, we got our fence up, we got to make sure it's working. So we want a tester. Man, did I go looking on testers. I looked all over the place to try to find what I wanted for a tester. I was in my local Tractor Supply, I saw what they had. We had another farm store, what they had. I looked online, I looked what other people said. The guy that I saw the review on the various chargers here, I saw he happened to have a review on a tester. It was really cool. I really liked it. It was neat. And when I found it online, it was $260. And I thought, I don't think we're going to spend $260 for a tester. So what did I come up with? The ones I saw at Tractor Supply and some other places have the long ones. It's got the lights that light up. The lights go, the more light up there, the more charge you have, the more it lights up. And almost everything where I read, everybody complained, you can't see it. Some people, you said you probably couldn't see it in the middle of the night, because you definitely couldn't see it in the day. So I thought, that's no good. So I found this one, and it's called Alloson, A-L-L-O-S-U-N. There will be a link in the description. And if I can figure this out through Amazon, and I think I have, I've been an Amazon affiliate member for quite a while. If I can figure the link out, the link in the description will be an Amazon affiliate link, which basically means I get a little credit if you order it through my link instead of just going somewhere else and ordering it. So if that works out, I do appreciate that. You know, don't have the big channel with all the subscribers and all the money I make that way. Comes with a carrying case. The thing I liked about it, we're going to hook on the wire. We got the probe in the ground. And like all of them say, hey, if it's too dry, you might have to wet the probe down just a little bit. But the key to it is, it's got the big digital numbers you could read easily. And by the way, this was between $25 and $30. If I remember right, it's somewhere in between $25 and $30. That's if I remember. So it wasn't really high priced. Got great reviews. Let me take it over, we're gonna hook on the fence. I gotta hold on the camera and hold on at the same time to see how we can get this to work out. But I'll hold it so you can actually see the reading and see what it does. So let me get ready here. All right, here we go. I got the probe in the ground, and as you can see, now I'm doing this straight into the sun. And you can see I got a 0.2, 0.3. I'm getting a little bit just out of the ground. But all we're gonna do is hook it on the fence. And there we go, there's a 9.8. Can I get that where the sun shines on it? Let me try another one here. We're back off to 4. There we go, look, 9.8. I have no problem seeing that with the bright sun right on it. It goes back, and hook it again, and there we go. So that's the Alloson charger, and I think that thing works really great. I'm really happy with that. Now, you may be asking, what does that 9.8 mean? All right, this, let me get the deal here. Here's the Alloson defense tester. It will test anything from, got it down, 300 volts all the way up to 9,900 volts. All right, so it tests anywhere from 300 to 9,900, which is a lot bigger range than most of them. I like that too. So we're showing up 9.8. That 9.8 would be 9,800 volts. So we are right at the peak almost of what that charger can do. To see what else it does, my daughter uses the netting. Like the Premier one, the netting she'll use that for chickens, she'll use it for sheep. She happens to be using some for chickens right now. And I've always been amazed at the netting because it all just sits in the ground and yet it still works. You know, I figured, man, that stuff should all be grounded out. But hey, it's working. So I took my tester up and I tested her netting. And this is just sitting on the ground, you know, nothing really fancy with it. And she was still getting a 7.8 and 7.9, something like that on her netting. So I thought that was pretty good. So the Alloson tester, again, links down description. There you go, the FarmWorks. I'm not going to say I'm going to recommend that because I haven't used it long enough. Reviews I've got have been fairly decent. As I said, the ground is finicky. Tractor Supply, and I suppose you can get it at other locations and that too. I happen to have the Tractor Supply. That's my fencing. All right, that's it. That's what I got. So far, sheep been out. Haven't had any problems yet. I did wait till I weaned lambs. I do have 2 lambs yet with the ewes. There's 2 ewe lambs left, but I didn't want to put them out on a hot wire for the very first time with a whole bunch of lambs, with 17 lambs out here. So I waited till there's only 2. And I have to admit, the morning I put them out, I watched the very first 2 that ever hit the fence were the 2 lambs. But fortunately, they all went back towards the ewes. Didn't have any problems. Depending on the breed, if you're watching me because of horned-haired sheep, you like the exotics, and that's what you're going to be doing, hey, it's working with the painted desert. If you've got mouflons or stuff, I don't know how that's going to work with mouflons. They're kind of wild and crazy. I've had them, and I don't know if there's a hot wire that's going to stop them. All right, before we call it quits, at that, I want to show you what am I going to do to get to the next pastures. This is the one I was just in. You can see there's my corner. Told you there's all my corner track markers in there. That's how they go around. So that's one pasture. Here will be the next. As you can see, here will be my gate. The gate down there is closed. Once that gate is closed, the sheep will access right up the alleyway here till they get to this gate, accessing this pasture. And as you can see, I don't have it on yet. I'm getting ready to string this up now. But how do I get my hot wire from there to here? My plan is I'm going to come along with some, these are pressure treated. I'm going to come along with some pressure treated 2x4s. I'm going to put a pressure treated 2x4 here so I get a little more height. I want to be able to get in here with my tractor if I need to. I'll put another one of these insulators there. We'll hook up. We'll go overhead. Have a 2x4 here, come down, and away we go. And when I get down to the next one, another 90 feet down to the next one, and the next one, we'll do the same thing every time we get to a 12-foot gate. So that's the way I've got it set for this one, how I'll move over to this one, and we keep going down the line. Now, as I said, the fencer unit, how long that lasts, I don't know, but I recommend it. Hey, it's working fine now. The ground may be finicky where the guy said. I didn't have any problem with 2 4-footers. That should hold. The Alloson, the unit to test your bat fence, I love that. So far, that's done really well. Never saw anybody say a bad thing about that. So that one I would probably recommend on what I've seen so far. That's the electric fence unit, guys. That's what I've done. The components, if you got any questions, leave it down in the comments. Leave me a question in the comment. See if I can answer it. Maybe there's something I didn't cover. I'll try to answer for you. Otherwise, that's all I got now. We're going to come back and review how many head in the pasture. I did that a few videos ago, but we're going to get down, and this time we're going to do the math. So if you haven't contacted your extension agent yet to ask him about your area, you got about another week or two to do it, and then we're going to do the math. Thanks for sticking with me.